Okay, so it is day 4 now where Ukraine has been targeting Russian military assets, not necessarily bases as much as oil and warehouses and factories that produce things that help the Russian war machine function. But on this night, now it's not that Russia wasn't hitting back already. They were, but they really concentrated on Kyiv. Kyiv was brutally attacked last night, and we'll talk about that. Here's Anna from Ukraine explaining what happened with the first 3 days and the 750 drones that hit Russia, Ukrainian drones that hit Russia.
Hello guys, according to the Russian officials, 750 Ukrainian drones have visited Russia during these 3 days. Well, what did they expect? Putin declined a ceasefire, which means he wants fire. So he gets fire, but just on the military objects inside of Russia. And hundreds of Ukrainian drones visited dozens and dozens and dozens of Russian regions, bringing war back home where it belongs and also demonstrating to those who can see that Russia is very vulnerable, can and will be defeated. The Kremlin is a classical bully that was totally unprepared to defend itself on its own territory. And right now, every night, Ukrainian drones keep defeating and demilitarizing Russia.
And the contrast couldn't be starker because while Ukraine has been doing this for the last 3 days, it's really amazing what the contrast between what Ukraine's doing to them and what Russia's doing back to Ukraine. Okay, so that's all that I want to show you with Anna. And let's look at this. Last night, before I went to sleep, I saw this. Kyiv's currently under direct attack by deadly Russian drones. And then we see some pretty significant damage. Explosions don't stop in Kyiv. People run to the metro, even now because apartments are burning. 1:20 in the morning, Kyiv, Russia is conducting a massive combined air attack on Ukraine's capital using ballistic missiles and drones. I'll tell you just how many in just a moment. Multiple explosions in the city. That's how Putin is signaling his readiness for peace. Here's Anton Goroshenko. Russian drone attack continues. 8 people injured, at least at this point. Several residential buildings hit by debris. Air defense at work constantly. Loud explosions heard in the city. No sleep for us. And that's an image of Kyiv. Massive AAA fire, anti-aircraft, I believe that is, fire over Ukraine's capital tonight. Kyiv tonight as Russia mounts large-scale air raid on the city. Let's just look at some of this, though, because, I mean, this actually made it into a thumbnail. Look at this going up. And that's just amazing stuff. Okay, Ukraine, massive Russian attack happening on Kyiv, upwards of 70 drones and missiles, and it became a lot more than that, actually. This debris of Russian missiles shot down from air defense by possibly 1.5 ton Iskander ballistic missile with a 700-kilogram warhead falling from the sky over Ukraine. In Kyiv. Residential buildings on fire in Kyiv after Russian attacks. The attacks continue. God bless Ukrainian air defense. It's a challenging night for them. Russians pour missiles and drones onto the civilian population of Kyiv after an hours-long overnight attack. And another image of Kyiv right now. It was something. Ballistic missiles and Shahed drones were used and fires broke out in various districts. This is how Kyiv looked on the night of 24 May after the Russian massive attack. Number of injured rose to 15 civilians. Residential buildings, shopping centers, educational institutions, cars were damaged. Following an overnight attack, damage has been reported on the Blockbuster shopping mall. At least 15 people are now known to have been injured across 5 districts of the capital. That's when I woke up this morning. Funniest comment I saw was this. This is Alina Sarnitska. The shelling of Kyiv has been going on for 3 hours. The grandmas in the shelter are already showing me photos of their unmarried grandsons. I tell them I'm taken, but they insist, just in case I look. Overnight, the Russia launched a brutal attack on Kyiv using drones and ballistic missiles. Air defense shot down 245 of 250 drones, 6 out of 14 missiles. So even then, there's lots of things falling, the debris and the missiles that got through. Yeah. Jessica Berlin said this last night. Russia attacked a European capital with ballistic missiles and hundreds of drones. And today, the story barely registers in international news headlines. Western normalization and acceptance of Russian atrocities in Ukraine is what makes them possible. Spot on. That's exactly right. And then this wasn't last night during these attacks. This was posted yesterday. This is Nadia, a nurse at the Cherkiv Central Hospital. Russia murdered her today. Nadia was working in her garden in the Kharkiv region when a Russian missile struck. She leaves behind a young daughter. It's one thing to think, oh, these numbers, but when you see one person, it just shocks you, right? Okay, now Ukraine was striking back. This is day 4 of these drone strikes on Russian military factories and industrial warehouses and oil and those kind of things. Overnight, there was another wave of drones that slammed into Russian territory. Moscow says 94 were shot down. That's on top of the 750 that was claimed yesterday. But reports speak of explosions near Yelets, already recently hit, and a NAK Azot chemical plant in Novomoskovsk Tula region. Ukraine also deploys a record number of drones against Russian armed factories, airports, and energy facilities that killed mobile internet for dozens of Russian cities and towns, stranded tens of thousands of air travelers. The Azot chemical plant in Novomoskovsk and Tula region is on fire following a Ukraine drone strike. Local residents confirm the site was hit. The drones hit Russia's largest ammonia and nitrogen fertilizer producer, undermining the war economy and military applications. The strike hit a NAK Azot chemical plant in Novomoskovsk and damaged a natural gas pipeline. The facility manufactures not only fertilizers but also chemicals, including chlorine, caustic soda, and nitric acid. And then another view, the drones damaged a plant producing chemical power sources in Yelets, Russia. The plant was targeted for the second night in a row. The energy plant serves as Russia's sole manufacturer of batteries for aviation bombs guidance systems. So that's a view of what happened yesterday and the day before. Okay, so let's turn our attention to what was going off the battlefield. 1,130 eliminated personnel, 11 tanks, 47 armored fighting vehicles, 36 artillery systems, 232 vehicles and fuel tanks. That's a big story there. That's very high. And then we see again 1130 brings us up to 1158 as an average for the month of May. Here's Ragnar Gudmundsson's dashboard, the highest number of engagements since early May. Casualties also are above the average, and strike data excludes last night's attacks. So we're not going to look at the strike data for now. Again, on a night of May 24th, Russia launched 14 ballistic missiles, and ballistic missiles, they have a real hard time shooting down. And 250 Shahed drones in a massive attack targeting Kyiv and several regions. Ukrainian air defense shot down 6 Iskanders and neutralized 245 drones. That's pretty amazing that they were able to do that. In the Pokrovsk direction, Russian invaders led 45 assaults yesterday, and it's hardly even the big story. The big story was the attack on Kyiv. Okay, according to Russian sources, remember that helicopter that I talked about yesterday that had been shot down, or was it yesterday or the day before? Part of the crew of the Mi-8 military helicopter, yeah, I guess it was yesterday, the crash yesterday in the Oriol region, had taken part in the 2014 extraction of pro-Russian Ukrainian President Yanukovych. Did I say Yanukovych yesterday? I couldn't remember one. Maybe I said Lukashenko, but Yanukovych, flying him out of Ukraine to Russia during his escape. Okay, just some other news. Andrew Perpetua made this comment because the 101st Airborne Division in the U.S. had posted this video. The infantry squad vehicle is a piece of the Army Transformation and Contact Initiative, and your Screaming Eagles have been putting it to the test. The ISV brings increased mobility and lethality to the fight. Okay, I look at that and I think about what I've seen in Ukraine, and I think, oh no, what are we doing? And Andrew Perpetua commented, the entire world, we produced loitering munitions in enormous numbers that are swarming every inch of the battlefield. And America is saying, we have brand new golf carts. And that's pretty much fast golf carts. And that's not going to be good if we don't pay attention to what's going on in Ukraine. Okay, this is General Cavoli saying Russia has enough manpower and metal to sustain its war effort for at least 2 more years. This is the European Command Chief Christopher Cavoli from NATO. Despite heavy losses, Moscow retains the capacity to continue to fight at its current pace. That's his assessment. All right. I showed you this yesterday. We demand $30 an hour, and employers' response was, well, okay, then we'll just send drones, right? I mean, we're delivering Chick-fil-A in the United States. That's American fast food. And okay, that seems to be working. Well, I also saw this. Here's Amazon, an exciting update in drone delivery from Amazon. Prime Air is now expanding its selection to include popular electronics with lithium-ion batteries like phones, AirTags, even grilling thermometers. So they'll put these drones in the air to deliver packages, and that's going to be part of the way things are done in the future. Okay, now I'm showing you this to show you the application of what's happening from the battlefield into the present. There's also another problem. Batteries sometimes fall in the sky. That's a battery, and if I continue to play, oops, yeah, you just saw that thing crash and hit the car. There's a baby inside that car. Like, things are sometimes going to go wrong, right? There's a mom putting that baby in the car just before that happened. Yeah, same video. Okay. Now, there was some good news yesterday. On May 23rd, 270 Ukrainian soldiers returned home in the first stage of the largest prisoner exchange since the start of Russia's full-scale war. Among the freed are defenders of Kyiv captured in the first days of the 2022 invasion. And here's some other images of this. They're very happy that now it's up to nearly 400 people at this point, nearly 800 people exchanged at this point. And then we see the main thing is that you've heard from me. Now you can sleep easy knowing that I'm at home, says Anton, a Ukrainian defender who calls his mother and girlfriend who had been waiting for him for 37 months. 37 months. After such a long period, they'll be able to see each other. Anton will once again get to eat his favorite homemade preserves. Yes, are you crying? No, I'm not. I'm just happy. Eleonora waited 3 years for her husband, Andrei, to return from Russian captivity. Andrei was captured while performing his combat mission in Donetsk direction in March 11th of 2022. So Lavrov said that 1,000 for 1,000 prisoner exchange has been completed. Okay. Today, I think it's appropriate to thank the fighter pilot jets who are guarding the skies. And those drone hunters that are on the ground shooting down those drones. I mean, wow, what an amazing day. This is just a metaphor. It's a metaphor for measures and countermeasures, and this is what's happening on the battlefield right now. Drones get improved, drones get defeated. Then we figure out another way to make it better, and then we figure out another way to defeat it. And this is happening continuously during this war. And then finally, last couple of things, defending Ukraine day and night. And Darth Putin, will wrap up with 2 by Darth Putin. Last night's Iranian-Russian bombardment of Ukrainian civilians was proudly made possible by Trump's clear message that it's permitted, consequence-free. Well, that is the message that's being sent. Even if he's not trying to send it, that's what's being sent. And then finally, we'll see this. You keep saying that Russia can't shoot down Ukraine's drones, but this drone won't be blowing up any more oil facilities. I remain master strategist. Okay. All right, my friends. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.